Hey everybody, I want to expose Zerohedge, as you can see here. It's one of these online websites which I believe is skewing a lot of misleading, wrong information. And by the way, who are these guys? Were these people a bunch of losers that couldn't make it on Wall Street, that couldn't make it in the financial industry, that somehow decided to make their own blog, their own website just to make up news, therefore making a living somehow? It looks like these people are like that. I can tell you this for a fact. And there's a lot of ugliness I'm seeing in Zerohedge. Anyway, these are one of the example articles I want to show you. They're skewing a lot of propaganda. And I've told you that a lot of these people are pumping out gold. But I'm not going to just really talk about gold. But anyway, just speaking of gold, I mean, look at they're still telling people it's going to go up to 2,193. Just on and on, fear-mongering. Look at these people that they have connections with. Chris Martinson, Dr. Housing Bubble. Well, it looks like real estate outperformed gold in the last couple of years. Max Keiser, another one of these pumpers. Look at this. Mises Institute. On and on and on. Unbelievable. But anyway, let's read this. With still more than half of the homeowners with a mortgage in the state of Nevada underwater or hope for recovery, now investors realize banks have completed their foreclosures and unload their huge inventories. The fear is growing that Las Vegas, and for a matter of fact, Atlantic City, could be the next Detroit. So you see here, they're trying to scare people that it's doom and gloom, the American cities are going to simply bust. And the reason they're telling you that is because of online gaming and other areas that have basically deregulated gambling requirements or restrictions. And so you can see here, as you can see, they talked about Indian gaming, Macau, and they also talked about all the other states that have just recently reduced their gaming regulations or made gambling legal, as a matter of fact. So let me tell you something. If you're bringing this fear-mongering, now I will tell you this, I don't know a lot about Atlantic City. Certainly that they can deliver lots and lots of competition to Atlantic City because the resorts in Las Vegas are far more larger and far more grander than you'd find in other areas that have lots of casinos. And not to mention, you got to understand that the climate of Las Vegas in terms of heat, humidity, precipitation and so forth is far more favorable than Atlantic City. At least Las Vegas hardly gets any natural disasters. Atlantic City is very vulnerable to snow, rainfall, and of course hurricanes. You can see what happened about a year and a half ago with Sandy. But I will tell you something, that when you look at the hotels that have been built in these alternative areas, for the most part, they are not going to outcompete Las Vegas, okay? And let me show you how that's going to work, because first of all, Indian gaming and those smaller casinos outside of Nevada, those are for the people that just want to play a few poker games and slot machines. But the hotels that you find, for the most part, in Macau, the Indian gaming, and the ones that are popping out in Pennsylvania, and one is being planned in Massachusetts, in terms of size and integrity, they do not compare with the Bellagio, Palazzo, City Center, MGM Grand. And by the way, people don't come to Las Vegas mainly for gambling. They come for the integrity. They come for the entertainment. They come for the environment. They come from these shows. They come for the experience. They come for the unique service and stance that that area has in the middle of the desert. That's why they go there mainly. Not because they have the urge to put a coin in a slot machine. If you happen to believe that, then you really don't understand what is going on, people. You see, this is what they do. These Zerohedge people, they over-exaggerate things. They don't tell you the alternative side of the story. And people just don't question, understand, and look at alternative sources that will contradict to their points. So anyway, you can see here. Now, he talked about gaming revenue in Atlantic City. However, where's the gaming revenue for Las Vegas? Where is it, Zerohedge? Huh? Where are your facts? Well, I'm going to show you some of my facts. Look at this. As you can see here, Las Vegas sets a record with near 40 million visitors in 2012. Record! That's more than 2007, since the financial crisis began. I mean, seriously, these people are clowns. I don't understand what's going on in terms of how you are. And of course, the situation isn't much better. They're not delivering any facts. And more than half of all the homeowners in the entire state of Nevada are more than the houses are worth. Okay, well, do you write articles about this happening in Florida, Georgia, Arizona, California, where there's similar situations? Do you do that? I don't think so. Okay, now you see here they make a good point. They're holding into their interviews, latest rise in real estate prices, and they will be depressed again. But that doesn't necessarily mean the economy is going to tank necessarily. In fact, lower prices are going to attract more bargains. So it's going to be the dust bin, and somehow they're going to end up like Detroit. And first of all, let me tell you something, okay? Anybody wants to compare Las Vegas to Detroit, I can give you a number of facts and reasons why there is a very good chance that it will not happen like Detroit. And let me give you some facts first of all. You can see here, this is the population of Clark County, Nevada, which includes basically the cities of Las Vegas, Henderson. And as you can see here, when you take a look, let me see if I can zoom in a little more. One of the things you'll notice that, okay, let me try to zoom out. The population has gone up. I mean, seriously. From 2010 to 2012, when all of this foreclosures happened, it's gained nearly 50,000 residents. That is so much better than so many metropolitan areas across the country that didn't have as high as an unemployment rate as Las Vegas or foreclosure activities. So what does this tell you? And don't get me started with 2013, because obviously they've experienced some gains as well. And a lot of people like to say that Las Vegas is overpopulated. Look, people, if you want to see where it's overpopulated, I'm going to tell you some nearby areas that are overpopulated. Okay? Let's take a look. You want to see a place that's overpopulated? Let's look at the area that I live in. Southern California. Okay? What, 22 million people? Seriously? What is this supposed to tell you? That Southern California is 10 times better than Clark County, Nevada? Are you serious? Now, certainly, what this might tell you is that if you poll, when you factor in price, 9 out of 10 people or so will tell you that they would rather live in Southern California than Clark County, Nevada. But here's the facts. I will tell you something that it's going to really open your mind. Southern California is known for earthquakes. Southern California has one of the most unaffordable housing markets in the country. Southern California has way worse smog. It has higher taxes, higher home prices, higher taxes and fees, HOA, more traffic congestion, all these other problems. And the only benefits of living in Southern California is that, of course, your schools are higher ranking, which doesn't necessarily mean that the schools are better, because the schools in Southern Nevada have a lower teacher-student ratio than they do in Southern California. And also, not to mention, the climate to some people seems far more attractive. Not to me, as a matter of fact. So when you look at this, 22 million people, and when you see all this overcrowding and all these problems, do you think that lots and lots of people have the desire to move to Clark County, Nevada as a better alternative? I do think so. And let's look at another area that is largely, I think, is overpopulated and basically just crap compared to Las Vegas, okay? And by the way, Southern California most likely is going to lose one resident, and the gain is going to go to Clark County. And you, of course, you know who that one resident is going to be. But let's go on to the other metropolitan area, which I believe it's garbage crap compared to Las Vegas. Phoenix. I mean, who the hell wants to live there? Seriously. I mean, certainly, make no mistake. I mean, it's got some beauty, but I think it's garbage compared to Las Vegas. What is this? Next to 4.2 million people, and then Clark County has 2 million people. I mean, seriously? How is Phoenix even better, and why more people choose to live there than Las Vegas? It's more boring. The climate is not as great. There's more crime. And yes, there is more crime, despite the fact that Las Vegas is known as Sin City. I can show you the facts, people. Alright? And at least the rate of Las Vegas in the previous decade of growth was much faster percentage-wise than Phoenix. Thank goodness. But, I mean, seriously, I mean, what kind of advantage are you getting in Phoenix? You have more taxes. I believe housing is slightly more expensive. There's just so many flaws of living there compared to Las Vegas. I mean, look at this. It's a joke. Now, you have to understand, the area was more established in the 19th century. Clark County, Nevada barely existed in the beginning of the 20th century. And not to mention, of course, Phoenix is closer to Mexico, so they have much more immigration influence. Keep in mind. So, as far as I know, look, my point is, when people say that Las Vegas is overpopulated, just look at what it really has, because it has more entertainment, there's more things to do in a spare time, there's less traffic, there's more like recreation opportunities, I believe, and not to mention it has a far better business climate compared to other areas of the country. And tell me in my own face that Las Vegas is more populated, because I'll tell you that it's not. And let me show you some facts. These are two suburbs, Henderson and Scottsdale. And let me show you one favorable factor. You can see here, I believe that the climate of Henderson is far more attractive than the climate of Scottsdale. I mean, look at this. 105 in the summertime compared to 101 in Henderson. Now, of course, this doesn't factor in humidity, because Scottsdale's humidity levels is far greater to a certain percentage than Henderson, because Scottsdale is closer to the tropics. And the only advantage you're getting living in Phoenix and Scottsdale, you can see here, it's 69 in January. So you can go golfing outside with a t-shirt. That's opposed to 54 in Henderson. And as you can see here, we've had nighttime temperatures that get down to 4 degrees. And that doesn't, of course, include wind chill, because it does get cool and windy in southern Nevada as well. But relatively speaking, the climate of southern Nevada is far greater than most parts of the country. And I guess you can say, depending on who you are, even better than Southern California, as a matter of fact. You get less rain. You don't get earthquakes. You don't get June gloom. So that's what you have to really understand, as a matter of fact. So all these articles that tell you that somehow Las Vegas is dying, it's doom and gloom. Now, make no mistake, I do believe that there's a lot of economic problems down the road for Las Vegas, as well as America and, frankly, the world. But I just don't buy into these doom and gloom, fear-mongering tactics. And also, I want to tell you something. For those of you who disagree with me, and for those of you who think that the happy days are over for Clark County, Nevada, here's my deal for you. I'm going to do everything I can in the bottom of my heart with flyers, posters, rallies, marches. I'm going to keep spreading my word of my ideas to build an empire of master plan developments. All of these lands you see here, you see right here, all these lands, I am dying to build and construct and preach like crazy to make this area grow out of control. I'm going to certainly try so hard. I'm going to keep fighting. I mean, I'm not going to try to make enemies, but I'm going to deliver a lot of effort, all right, to make the area explode. So what? Gaming revenue declines. We'll reinvent ourselves. We'll be more diversified. We'll bring factories. We'll drill more oil or mine for more materials. We'll have the most innovative, contributing, creative education services in the world that will impress millions of visitors in our convention centers. And we don't need campuses like Harvard and Stanford to prove that we're educated. We'll have the lowest percentage of college graduates, and we'll still be one of the brightest and intelligent people in the world, potentially. Yeah, we'll build the most beautiful towns with quality buildings and plazas that will shock and envy the world. Oh yeah, I'll keep designing and drafting and preaching and keep spreading my ideas like crazy until the day I die. So all of you people out there, you want to keep dooming and glooming, go ahead. Okay? Because nothing is going to stop Osiris. I am Osiris, and I got a nasty virus that I got to tickle down on. Alright? So, tell me what you think. Because somebody's got to do something so that we don't end up even a tiny magnitude of the Detroit economy. Now, of course, not everything about Detroit is horrible. I will tell you that the historic homes are very beautiful, and I think we can apply a lot of that charm and beauty in the new developments that we build. So, when you think about it, I'm going to continue to really make a lot of efforts. We really have to stretch out our amazing personality into other aspects. So you got to understand that one of the main reasons I'm investing in the stock market is to raise enough funds to really carry on this movement and hopefully get this thing really established. So you can see here, these are all the lands that I'm planning to develop. Here, we can connect it with maglev trains, we can expand the roads. Keep in mind, though, that I have very, very little plans for the built areas. Because if people don't like my ideas, they don't have to be so exposed to it. This is an alternative, people, to this cookie-cutter development. All the homes are very repetitive, things are very car-dependent. And this is also an alternative to so-called sustainable development, smart growth, all this other phony solutions has been brought out. So if you want alternatives to rush hour traffic, the student loan system, the neglectful schooling system, you want alternatives to this whole globalist trade network, you want alternatives to these boring and dull places that we hang out, mega parking lots. If you want alternatives to a lot of the problems that we're facing our society, then Cyrus Planning is for you, and you need to spread this idea and heavily revolutionize the Southern Nevada area to new heights. That's all I ask, okay? I ask you all to spread the word. Thank you so much. And please, stay away from these articles. Give me a break, Zerohedge. And keep in mind, though, I'm going to actually expose a lot of these other pretty soon. If you want my take on the Liberty Mastermind Conference, please stay tuned. Also, here you can see here, I'm going to show you some of my clips. If you are also interested in some of my designs, you can see here, you can go right here, Metropolis Extension Design. These are the designs that I'm going to plan for this area. So I'm going to keep trying, and even if I fail, at least I'll look back and I have a record. So that's all I ask.